let's get back to Duke Ellington a little bit here. And at the age of 7, he began taking piano lessons, and his childhood friends gave him the nickname Duke due to his casual manner and dapper dress, just like a young nobleman, dapper Duke. Though he was taking piano lessons, he was very interested in baseball. Yeah, he went to Armstrong Technical High School, and his first job was selling peanuts at Washington Senators baseball games. He started sneaking into Frank Holliday's pool room at age 14 and loved listening to the pool room pianists and began to take his lessons more seriously. So may not be baseball, but it was ball sports and connection to music. And while working as a soda jerk at the Poodle Dog Cafe, he wrote his first composition, The Soda Fountain Rag, which I don't think I've ever heard, let alone heard of. In 1917, he worked as a freelance sign painter, and began assembling groups to play music for school dances. He'd get gigs while painting his signs, and when a customer asked him to do a sign for a special event, he would ask if they needed music too, and so this was really the beginning of his professional music career. Duke composed thousands of scores and led his band, for more than 50 years. The Duke Ellington Orchestra has been performing worldwide for over 92 years, and Duke made famous songs such as Take the A Train, Sophisticated Lady, Satin Doll, and It Don't Mean a Thing Unless It Ain't Got That Swing, not to mention In a Sentimental Mood, which we played a little bit earlier. Duke Ellington received the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award in 1966, the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 1969, and Legion of Honor by France in 1973, and posthumous Special Pulitzer Award for his lifetime contribution to music and culture in 1998, and earned 14 Grammy Awards. That ain't bad. 14. That's, anyway, that's pretty good. I was going to show you a few more Duke Ellington. These are some of the older. I got maybe 50 albums. I'm not even sure if you can see that. It's so worn down. Well, let me see who's on here. Johnny Hodges, is here on saxophone. Duke Ellington, of course, piano, trumpet, Ray Nance. Clark Terry is here. Sam Woodyard on drums. Lots of people that we've known from other places. I love this cover. What do you think? Yeah, I think so. And I guess this came out in 1958. And again, Johnny Hodges is on here. Harry Carey. Ray Nance, Clark Terry, trumpets, amongst others, trombones, Ozzie Bailey on vocals, Sam Woodyard again drums, and Jimmy Wood on bass. Really like that picture. Oh, yeah. And here is Count Basie meets the Duke first time. That's pretty cool, I think. And haven't played this in a while either, but Battle Royale, Take the A Train is on here. Things like that, Jumping at the Woodside. And the Count meets the Duke first time, it says. But let's see, there's some pictures there. And a reproduction of a poster. And then, okay, that's good. But anyway, one of my favorites, probably one of yours too, Duke Ellington, master that he is, or was, but he still is through his music. So there. Now, who else has a birthday today? Richard Carlson, 1912, and left us in 1977. So, Richard Carlson was an American actor, television and film director, and screenwriter. Richard was born in Albert Lea, Minnesota. His father was a lawyer. Richard majored in drama at the University of Minnesota, where he wrote and directed plays. He opened his own repertory theater in St. Paul. After it failed, he moved to New York City. He made his acting debut on Broadway in 1935, wrote and staged a play in 1937, moved to California, where he joined the Pasadena Playhouse, where so many people, as we've spoken of, had. Here is a picture of him. I believe he was first hired on, I don't know whether it's as an announcer in most things. And here he is looking very movie star-ish. I don't know, there's a George Sanders look about him on that picture. I don't know why exactly, but so be it. And here he is with his lovely co-star. And what's her name? What was her name?
Judy Adams. Julie
Adams, his lovely star, plus Julie Adams, co-star here in Creature from the Black Lagoon. Now, we'll get a little bit more into that. His first film part was 1938 David O. Selznick comedy, The Young in Heart. In Heart or at Heart?
In Heart.
In Heart, okay.
With Prince Sinatra.
Oh, so that's different. Different film, okay. Several films followed over the years, as well as regular appearances on television shows such as the Prudential Family Playhouse, the Ford Theater House, Lights Out, as well as The Detectives, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, Perry Mason, of course everybody's been in Perry Mason, Bonanza, and Cannon, to name a few. He also wrote episodes. He wrote of Schlitz Playhouse and Kraft Theater. And he is known for his many science fiction films such as The Magnetic Monster, It Came from Outer Space, and of course The Creature from the Black Lagoon. So here's a short list of some of his films. The Amazing Mr. X, 1948. Director Bernard Voorhaus, and starred Turam Bay. Okay. Not sure who Turam Bay, but there is The Amazing Mr. X. The Day the Earth Stood Still, 1951, directed by Robert Wise, starred Michael Rennie, Patricia Neal, Sam Jaff, and film won 1 Golden Globe Award for Best Film Promoting International Understanding Between Us and Another Planet, I guess, and was nominated for Golden Globe Best Original Score from Bernard Herrmann, who we've talked about many times. Again, I still like to show the Laserdisc copies because they make better billboards. Directed by Robert Wise, of course. Many people say this was his best film. I do not agree with that, but it's still good. Good film. Whether I agree or not, it's still a good film. The premise that in order to save our lives, we would save the planet doesn't seem to hold that much water anymore, although that's a pretty sad thing to say. Magnetic Monster, 1953, director as well, Herbert L. Strock and Kurt Siodmak, starred King Donovan, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, Gene Bryan, Strother Martin, and it's part of a group here. But of course, the star of this group is this fellow right here. And what else is on here? Magnetic Monster, Quatermass Experiment, which is part of the Quatermass. Well, there were 3 Quatermass films. I'm sure we talked about them. There were television productions, then there were film productions, and I love them. And The Beast of Hollow Mountain is on here. And Invisible Invaders, which is pretty hokey. And Magnetic Monster is, it's about radiation and something that grows and grows until it tries to take over the world. But the most famous one probably, well, there's two that are the most famous. Creature from the Black Lagoon, director Jack Arnold, who we've talked about many, many times, Julie Adams, Richard Denning, and Nestor Paiva, P-A-I-V-A, and I'm sure you all know what he looks like, or I would if I showed you. He was in so many of the, this is Universal, I'm sure. He was in so many of those films, science fiction films. I mean, he was everywhere, and he was very entertaining too. There is our creature, the poor thing. You couldn't help but feel sorry for him. And the thing that always got me is that our hero, Richard Carlson, every decision he would make made things worse. The bad guy was Richard Denning, and if people in the film listened to Richard Denning, everybody would have lived and been fine. But that's anyway. Riders to the Stars, 1954. Directors were amongst them were Richard Carlson, Robert L. Strock, and it starred Herbert Marshall and Martha Heyer and King Donovan, who we all know from Invasion of the Body Snatchers and so much else. But Riders to the Stars, no, I don't think that's not really what it is. We did just get that 4-record, yeah, I was going to say, box set of the Doors.
Oh, and here's
L.A. Woman and all of the outtakes and things like that. Oh, Herbert Stark. Here we got it. We have. How come this is just a piece of paper?
because it's an autograph.
I know, but we have autographs on. You always frame them and put them with pictures. Huh?
That's just what we have.
Well, I know, but this is where they all started. And how,
just use what you have.
no, I know, but why isn't it on the, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, Valley of the Guani, which I didn't care for too much. 1969, director Jim O'Connelly, starred James Franciscus also. And from there, we will go on to another one of our favorite, well, to me, one of my favorites. And he's even still alive, and that's a nice thing. We can talk about somebody who's still alive, and because of that, I'm going to have a sip of coffee. Since I'm only allowed like 1 cup of real coffee a day, because, well, it doesn't matter. But, you know.
Long story.
Yeah, long story. Not that long, but that's okay. Andy Serkis, S-E-R-K-I-S, not like the other kind of circus, was born April 30th, 1964, and he was born as Andrew Clement Serkis. He's an English actor, which, you know, I guess because of the association with Lord of the Rings, I kind of thought of him as a New Zealand person or Australia, but no, English actor. And after starring in several minor roles preliminary on British film and television, Serkis achieved fame after he played Gollum in the Lord of the Rings film franchise. Let's do some pictures. Here he is trying to look like a movie star, and therefore he does. And my hero, Gollum's is here, right? Mm-hmm. I know that it is. And one step better looking than me. There he is. And here is the two of them. There are the two of them together. And this over here shows Andy in a suit that's got these little spots on it that's picked up on film and then computerized changes things. But they look pretty much the same, right? No? Anyway, he also played the King Kong character as well as the ship's cook, because he wanted, and I don't blame him, he wanted to be in the movie to look like himself also in King Kong, 2005. What do you think? That shows the two of them there. A little different facial expression, but there he is.
Actually, that's from.
Oh,
Planet
this
of the Apes,
is from Planet of the Apes.
The King
Well,
Kong is a
one ape or another ape.
Sorry.
Whoops. Where's my light?
Sorry.
Here's what I was thinking of. Much more like him there. There we go. Now, he has to be a pretty expressive person, both in facial and body language, to be able to pull off what he's pulled off.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great, I think, we need to pay him a lot of tribute for that. Here he is looking like kind of a normal person these days. But he was also, we showed you the picture of Caesar in Planet of the Apes reboot franchise, which went from 2011 to 2017. But that movie was really good. For his role as Gollum, he won the Empire Award for Best British Actor, Saturn Award for Best Supporting Actor, and Screen Actors Guild Award for Outstanding Performance by a Cast in a Motion Picture, sharing with the cast. Of course, he played more than one person in Gollum. No, he was actually just one in that. In 2011, he co-founded the Imaginarium Studios. Now, the Imaginarium, doesn't that come from Walt Disney?
But it's not the same thing.
No, I know it's not the
Yeah.
same thing, but okay.
Yeah, maybe he got
The Imaginarium Studios, which is a production company and creative digital studio based in Ealing. Ooh, Ealing, like the Ealing Studios. And we've talked quite a bit about that before. And the other show that we talked about, Alec Guinness and the amazing genius he was, and still is through films. We watched Lady Killers that night. What a fantastic film that is. Anyway, based in Ealing, London, and is dedicated to invention of believable, emotionally engaging digital characters using performance creature technology, in which he specializes in. So that's what we showed you those pictures before. So it's not just somebody's imagination, which is always great too, whether it's animation that's drawn on a piece of paper or whether it's drawn on a computer, it's still fantastic. But what we're talking about here is a real life human with those, the kind of suit that he wore in those other films, turning that into a different creature. So here's a short list of his films: Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Rings, 2001. Director Peter Jackson. Film was nominated for 13 Oscars and won 4, including Best Music. Howard Shore. I think I've said Howard Shore is just about my favorite living movie composer. Johan Johansson was another one, but he's gone now. But again, the Howard Shore music. I mean, this is great here, but I kind of harken back to those all the David Cronenberg films that used Howard Shore. King Kong was 2005. This, of course, is Fellowship of the Ring. These are the longer versions. I guess we need the 4K versions here soon. We haven't gotten those yet. Peter Jackson's, and we're talking about King Kong. And Peter Jackson, of course, was the director and starred Jack Black, which was an interesting pick, but I thought he did a good job. Naomi Watts was a perfect fit. Adrian Brody, who I really raised my eyebrows up when I first heard of it, but he turned out to be really, really good for that part. And the film was nominated for 4 Oscars and won 3. The Prestige, which I've got somewhere, which is an amazing film, and I think we talked about that the other day when we talked about David Bowie playing Tesla in that film. And that's 2006, directed by Christopher Nolan, starred Christian Bale, Hugh Jackman, Michael Caine, David Bowie, and Scarlett Johansson. And the film was nominated for 2 Academy Awards. Rise of the Planet of the Apes, we kind of already alluded to. And that was directed by Rupert Wyatt, starred James Franco and John Lithgow. And the film was nominated for 1 Academy Award. And we don't have too many honorable mentions today because we've honored we've honored quite a bit. But I think we're going to get 1 or 2 what happened on this day because it kind of goes along with a lot what we've been talking about science fiction films. And on April 27, 1951, The Thing from Another World was released. It was directed by Christian Neely, who later directed several episodes of Gunsmoke and Wagon Train. The film stars Kenneth Tobey, It Came from Beneath the Sea, and Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. Margaret Sheridan, making her screen debut, the first of only 6 films, and James Arness. Matt Dillon played the living carrot as the thing itself. Starred in a smaller role is George Fenneman, who was also announcer for Groucho Marx show, You Bet Your Life. And Howard Hawks, the producer, asked the U.S. Air Force for assistance in making the film. He was refused because the top brass felt that it would compromise the government's stance on UFOs and that UFOs did not exist. The film was partially shot in Glacier National Park, with interior sets built in Los Angeles in an ice plant to make it look like things were cold. And as I recall, Orson Welles also used an ice plant for part of the Magnificent Ambersons. I think we can double check on that, but I think that's pretty sure. Here is this is a weird way it opens. Oh, well, let me do this first. And of course, you recognize this guy from Mant and from Matinee and from so many other science fiction films. Good shot of James Arness as the carrot. Whoops, what did I hit? Oh, I hit itself. Okay. It's recognized with its overlapping, sometimes humorous dialogue, action and suspense, conflict and argument, and it has been reviewed as the most original and ingenious film in its category. And that overlapping dialogue just blows me away, and it's just so normal, like as in real life. And The Thing from Another World is considered to be one of the best films of 1951, other than one of the best films of that type in its category, which we just mentioned, and one of the great science fiction films of the 1950s, if not, forever. Now, in 2001, the United States Library of Congress selected it for preservation in the National Film Registry. And quite honestly, I know that everybody goes nuts for John Carpenter's version. I like a lot of John Carpenter's films. I like his music, too. In fact, we just bought the soundtrack to, why can't I think of it? This is killing me. The church in downtown LA.
Oh, yeah. Prince of Darkness.
Prince of Darkness. Yeah, I kind of like that film. No, not that I kind of like it. I really do like it. And anyway, check it out if you haven't already. But I like the music. And, the music was written by a carpenter, and he had a partner in that, which I'm ashamed to say I don't remember the name without getting the album out. But we picked up that album in downtown LA, went there by train a couple months ago, or maybe a little bit longer ago, and there was this place called the Alamo at the 7th Street transfer station. And then that 7th Street transfer station, there's a movie theater called the Alamo. It's a restaurant and movie theater, and they have a small gift shop. They have a lot of the Death Waltz and Mondo soundtracks. But 1 minute, we don't even have time for one of NASA Nelly's jokes. So with the 1 minute we have left, I would like to thank once again David Keith. I keep going with this name David because my cousin David I was thinking of earlier today. Sorry, Dennis. Dennis Keithley, good friend of mine and a great asset to all of us. And of course to Sean for making all of this possible. And most of all, of course, to the people who have spent at least part of, if not all of the last 2 hours with us. Have a great weekend coming up. Stay safe. Please stay safe and stay productive. Thanks so much again, and we will be with you again next week. Take care. Bye-bye.